Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's adventure, removing the factory exhaust on the Mojave, and we're going to install a Borla ATAK dual exhaust. Has two tips, comes out to each side. I had this on my previous Jeep, so it's not shiny and clean anymore like it used to be, but we'll get her cleaned up and put her on the new beast. Alrighty, let's get into it. First thing, we're going to take the spare tire down. It'll make getting the old exhaust a little easier. And I could do the hand crank, but I took one of the bars from a different vehicle that'll still key in back there and have a 1/2-inch socket welded on it. Speeds up getting the tire down when you're in a hurry. Quite a bit. Way easier than cranking it. Take this. Down. Set that out of the way. Then we'll crank this back up to get it out of the way. Haven't quite mastered this new tool yet. Too many settings. Alrighty, now that's out of the way. Yeah, this is just a standard end. Comes with most vehicles. And I took a 1/2-inch socket. It's not a 6-point, it's the ones with lots of points on it, so they would go onto a square drive. Hammered it on there. And a little bit of tack weld on the inside, and it's part of this forever. But it makes that much simpler. Alrighty. We'll get you guys moved and we'll go underneath and get some more stuff out of the way. Alright, the next thing, this heat shield. Now this is optional. You don't have to do this. But if you're doing it by yourself, it'll make life easier, because the tailpipe coming through here, it's all one piece clear up to the catalytic converters. With this out of the way, you can maneuver it through here to get it out. We're going to use, what is this? 10mm. 2 bolts up here. Set those aside where we won't lose them. And then there's 2 nuts on the back side. One nut. That spare tire thing's right there in a bad place. Another one right there. Let's see if we can reach it. Whoop, there's a 3rd bolt. See if we can reach around here. Now we got her loose. As you can see, the pipe's a lot more accessible now. Set this thing aside. Another mount. It's going to have to go this guy up here. There's one over here. So we'll get those loose. Now these ones are 13mm, I believe. Yes. See if this will fit. And not looking good. So we may have to do this the old-fashioned way. go, extension helps. Alright, that's loose. That can just hang on there for the moment. Set those bolts there so I remember where they go. And I'll move you guys over so you can see the... Alright, our rear tailpipe mount is up here. 2 more 13mm bolts. And lots of sharp things to cut my fingers on. So you can tell we haven't played with this a lot off-road yet. It's fairly clean underneath. And that's because I knew I had to do this. So why set myself up with a muddy truck to work on right off the bat? Will there be mud? Yes. If we can get her out with our fingers. Trying to take time to note where all these bolts came from and lay them appropriately so I can find them at a later date. There we go. Work that a little bit. And we'll just leave this one back here so I don't have to look for it later. At this point, we're moving clear to the frontmost part of the exhaust system, right here next to the transfer case, and we're going to remove the clamp. Same thing, 13mm, and by removing this, we're starting to get tension off of the exhaust system. We still have one mount holding in towards the center. Now for this particular system I'm putting on, I'll be reusing this clamp, so after I get it out I'll have to get that off. I think that's probably loose enough. When in doubt, a couple more turns. Alright. See if I can get you guys to see the next mounting point. Alright, so at this point, the only thing holding us is this here mount. And it's pointed through the backside like this. So in theory, I'm going to try this. I should be able to grab the exhaust system, lift up on it, pull it back out of this, which will disconnect it out of the coupler at the front, then be able to lower the front of the exhaust down into where I'm standing and pull the tailpiece up and over the drive shaft around where I removed that heat shield. So I'm going to give that an attempt. I'll move you guys out back so you can watch from back there where it's safe and I don't smash the camera. Alright, back under the lift. This is where it would help to have a buddy that don't lift and old stuff. Alright, we're loose. Maybe. I suppose I could take the cross member out below the transfer case, would make it a lot easier. But I really don't want to take any more apart than I already have. Boy, it's just tight. Ideally, if we had a little bit of lift in the suspension, would help at this point. Needs to go backwards to come down. When we get back far enough, then we're hitting a cross member back there. And our fuel tank is supported up there, so we should be able to just take those out. At that point, I can bring everything down. So let's do that. be an 18 millimeter. It doesn't support anything other than the fuel tank a little bit over here. And then one 13 millimeter bolt over here. Out of the way. Now we should be able to get the exhaust out. See, that's what we needed. We needed the front tip down. Then we can slowly work everything else forward, hopefully. I do recommend getting help for this because this is heavy. And why they couldn't have made it a two-piece thing to make it easier for a guy, I have no idea. Of course, when they were assembling this at the factory, they didn't have a bed on it or nothing. It was probably a lot easier. I'm catching on that. We're going to take the one mount that I didn't take off, get a little more clearance. Track bar is just not making life easy for me. This right here keeps hooking. I believe if I get that over that way a little bit, it can go up some. Then I'll be able to take it right out. At this point, my arm's getting hard. I guess a ratchet strap to help hold. We find something to ratchet strap to. There we go. There we go. Yeah, the trick is to get the tailpipe to that side. And at that point, the tip can turn over in there. I was trying to do it on the other side. Yep. Get the tailpipe, the pipe swung. Tailpipe, there's a hole up in there. Once you do that, you can come right out. And there we are. So at this point, I'm going to try to get as much of the new exhaust in place as I can, or new used exhaust in this case. If you're buying this kit you probably want to start at the front and work your way back. I'm back here and this piece is already together, so I'm going to put it in back here. What you'll get in the kit is there's a frontmost muffler followed by the secondary muffler. Then it'll go into this Y pipe. You'll have 2 of these elbows and then your tips, depending on what you got. If you only got the single exhaust out to one side, you won't have the Y pipe. There'll just be an elbow here and it'll come out the one side. That thing's sharp. This gets set up in here. Back about here is where it'll end up being. Take you guys up to the front and we'll start up there and start assembling. Alright, we're going to start by cleaning out where some of our mounts were. That'll make that a little more friendly to go back together. Oh, that's one-on-one. Alright, so this guy is back up here. We're just going to finger tight this to start. And this is our mid-pipe section. Which orientation it got. I think it goes like this, if I'm remembering correctly. Guy slides into there. Okay. Here, now it's hanging on its own. When she's installed, she's going to be kind of like that. Just snugging that for right now. Keep things from falling on me, basically. Do the same with the back one. That one we can make tight. I don't see why we can't tighten this one now. Some of the old exhaust soot. Same with over here. Okay. This clamp we had to save, reuse. It was off of the old exhaust. There's a, you just stick a screwdriver in, there's a little retainer pin that you bend out, and this comes off the old exhaust. I'm gonna slide it on here just so I don't forget to put it on. Now we got our front muffler. Clean it up a little bit. Help things to seal a little better in the future. Nice clean connections. Okay. Now, need another clamp, which I've already lost. There it is. This guy right here. Wish we cleaned everything else. Why didn't we clean the clamp? Let's do that. All right. Slide it on back little bit so we don't have any more resistance than we have to have. At this point, a little bit of wiggling, and hopefully that'll slide in there. I think at this point, I'm going to get a little bit of light oil and put on there to make it slip together easier. With the brand new exhaust, you shouldn't have these problems, but you were using the old one, things never slide together as good the second time as they did the first time. I basically just spray a little WD-40 on the cloth, wipe it around on there. That'll give that a little bit of lubrication. And you don't have to use WD-40, I just had a can handy. Alright, because we're going to have to slide this together and then index it to fit up there, so a little bit of slippery ain't going to hurt nothing. Now we're sliding together. Then my phone rang. Alright. That slips together. And we're not quite 100% indexed correctly because these pipes aren't lining up perfect over here. So this needs to spin, which by hand is easier said than done, so we'll get a pair of channel locks. We're spinning this. Try to get that to line up the best it can. Up in, let's see if we can get you guys turned. Up in here. We want this to be as straight as we can so everything flows nicely and seals nicely. Appears with the seam straight down, appears to be the happiest fit right there. Everything appears to feel pretty nice right there. If I remember right, that's how that was lined up last time. So remember, the logo's upside down and the seam's on the bottom. So we'll go back to our 13 millimeter. Give her a little bit of a clamp. All right, now that's together. Those seem to be centered up. Yes. This appears setting level. And these clamps, I believe, find up here. Lined up where it's nice, nothing's going to hit. Appear to have clearance around that. And these, I think, are a 15 millimeter. Yes. snug that snug. Everything's done to the rear axle at this point, with the exception if I need to put this cross member back in that I pulled down. You guys will be able to see that a little better now, possibly. Yes, this cross member had to come out. Make getting the exhaust out easier. I think it was an 18 millimeter. Yes. They appear to have Loctite on them. I'm sure there's a torque spec on that, but I don't know what it is, so we're just making them tight. We'll be back under here and check it later. Okay. Those bolts are back in. Muffler's back in. My last video, I was trying to remember what these were for. One would be your automatic shift lever, and the other one is your four-wheel drive shift lever. I did my underneath video. Why I couldn't think of that day, I don't know. All right, so let's go get the tail section on. All right, here we go, tail section. Try not to hit my head on this thing again because it likes to get me. We're going to take a little bit of our lube again. Clean the other part of the exhaust pipe back here. All right. Externally on that one. This one will be internally. Find our other clamp. Oh, it's already on there. One step ahead of myself. That's good. Let's see if we can maneuver this into place. And there we are. Before we clamp that one, we're going to put our mount back over here. This side over here, I bought this kit and I didn't get this bracket for here. Oh, I guess it's a scratch and dent rack and it was missing this one bracket. So I have my very own one of those that I made. So I'm gonna go find it. We'll get it bolted on. And then lastly, we're happy with our alignment because it's basically going to pivot on this side. We will do that last clamp. All right, I will be back. All right, found my homemade bracket. It's really high tech. Basically, we got a metal angle Bolt sticks out through it and it goes through a hole in the frame. Now, I made this last time. I told myself that I was going to go and order one for that side because it would work over here. On this side there's bolt holes and everything, and I never did. So I put this on for the meantime. So we're going to put this on saying that we're going to get the right piece this time. We'll wait and see. Alright, now where this lines up, I should be able to stick my finger through this hole. We got the bolt out through that hole. Should add this part. Well. Put this up here. A washer. Nut. And tighten. Take this, pick it up to where it goes, put that through the hole. Now this has a little bit of play in it, so I can look at both sides and make sure we're level. Using the knuckles on my finger as a gauge. Yeah, it could go up just a whisker to about there. Now we'll tighten the bolt. Now if you got the correct bracket, I'm assuming that they know where to put it, so you won't have to adjust like I just did. And there we are. Alrighty. Nothing's still sharp. We're happy with all our placements. We'll find our 15mm again, put it on here, and tighten the clamp. These clamps are still tight because I never loosened them. Something else to watch. Make sure none of this stuff is getting up against the exhaust pipe. This is the breather for the rear end. We also have a wire here for our rear locker. I believe what I'm going to do is zip tie these together. These should have some, with the kit, it actually came with some heat wrap to put around these so you don't burn them, melt them and such. Obviously that's on my other Jeep, it's with stick on. So for right now, until I get some, we're gonna wrap a bungee cord around it. And it doesn't need to be tight, it just needs to be enough to make sure that this doesn't fall back against that exhaust pipe. Yeah, it'll be heat shrink or heat shield like this. All right, now let's put our spare tire shield back in. Two studs in the back makes it easy to hold that for you while you put these bolts in. And now you should see me struggle getting the old exhaust pipe out, why this is a benefit when you're doing this by yourself, to take this off. So if it was in here, it would have been a lot harder. These are not 13, they're 10 millimeter. And if you aren't going to keep your spare tire under here, you wouldn't need to put this back on either. But it just keeps the exhaust from melting your tire, and it will. That way you're gonna go from behind. We're all clamped up, we're mounted up, everything seems solid, nothing's rattling, nothing seems to be hitting anywhere. Let's give her a test. Of all times for the camera to die, it died exactly when I hit the remote start. But there's another sample. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that fun stuff. It really helps the channel. And until the next time, y'all have a good one.